Howdy, y'all. This is Market Explainer, America's #1 business news podcast. All right, so we're going to jump into this next story about a new private space company because that's what America needs today. But before we do that, I want to tell you about Big Man Gear. You can go to bigmangear.com. You can gear up with the Big Man Gear's idea of funny merch. It's delivered to you via Amazon Prime because, hey, none of us have to hide from our spouses or the people we live with how much we ordered from Amazon.
That's right.
I'm not saying that my friends had a virtual Zoom. They had to sit me down and say, hey, we think you have a problem.
You had a Zoom intervention about your Amazon Prime membership?
That's correct.
Yeah.
I did promise to remove one-click ordering from my account. Good luck getting me to try to do that. But I personally want to thank Elon Musk for being able to send me a bunch of cheap goods and services. I'm sure they're all made very ethically and delivered ethically as well. Go to bigmangear.com and you can get all of that stuff that we just mentioned. So our good friend Steve Wozniak, he's a good friend of ours. Yeah, I'd like to be called Woz, is starting a company called Privateer Space.
Yes.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Here's this guy whose net worth can't really be pegged to anything, right?
Okay.
Here's this guy whose great claim to fame was that he was the co-founder of Apple, ousted from Apple before they created the iPhone or anything that we think of when we think of Apple in the modern era.
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense that he's starting. By the way, Woz was on a fantastic knockoff Shark Tank show that was only put out on YouTube, which we talked about, called Unicorn Hunters. I watched the first episode, and watched is a strong word. I survived the first episode.
Did it last past the first episode?
Wouldn't know, didn't care, not going to look it up anymore. And I actually happen to have some friends who were out in the Valley a couple of years ago raising money. They cold emailed Woz, and they got him to show up to a meeting. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Woz is probably a nice guy. He probably has over $100 million in net worth. But Woz will take anybody's meeting, okay?
Well, but okay, you got a guy. Okay, there are some people out there that spend their lifetime doing something, and when they accomplish it, that their kind of direction gets thrown off, right?
Well, yeah, what do I do
would
now?
say
Because
Woz was the co-founder of Apple, smart guy, right? Whatever. He spent his lifetime creating Apple and what was the foundation of Apple now, and he made $100 million from it.
Well,
and he
doesn't know.
I'm just saying. He made himself a rich man.
Yeah. So I'm looking at his net worth right now, and according to CelebrityNetWorth.com, the leading tracker of this net worth, he's only worth about $10 million.
Okay, I bet he's worth $100 million.
Yeah, I mean that's my guess. Yeah,
the point though is he made himself a rich man, and then that was kind of just what he did. The creator of Minecraft sold it for, I don't know, $1 billion, something insane.
Right.
And then he came around like 2 years later and was like, I just sit around my house and do nothing all day. Like, that was my life's work, and I don't know what else to do now, right? I think Woz is kind of one of those guys that he did what he did for a long time. He got his money, and he's probably a really simple guy, right? That is like, I don't really have a passion that was mine. I don't really need a lot of money, right? I live in this house and I don't spend a lot of money or whatever. So I have everything I'm going to need. So what am I going to do? And like a lot of people, they turn to philanthropy, right? Something I should do. I went and watched this. They released this, that he was going to be part of this privateer space, and they released a video. And the video I sat and watched through. And I'm still not sure, like most people, what exactly this company wants to completely do. It was a whole lot of humanitarian type of, we're going to go to space together. It's this all together.
It's about space junk and helping junk and
so space junk. See, if that was part of the story, was space junk. And look, let me tell you something. That is a huge industry going forward. Space junk is a big deal. in the future. There are already issues with collisions and satellites smashing into each other, and what the cost of that is, and you've got people like Elon Musk and Starlink wanting to put thousands of satellites in an already, you know what I mean, and already getting busier and busier traffic wise and stuff like. There's a lot of moving parts, is all I'm saying.
Right.
So space junk will become a real thing, considering there's still stuff up there from 50 years ago.
Right.
Well,
why don't we just laser it out of the sky? That's like, treat it like eyebrow hair and just laser it right out of the sky.
Well, the idea of space junk, and there has actually been a couple of sci-fi movies about this. The idea, though, of space junk is, how do we reclaim a lot of that? Get it out of the way. How do we reclaim it safe? If you reclaim it, there's a cost benefit to it, right? Of reclaiming it. Anyway, so the point is if that's your answer.
Let me just go out on a limb here and say the future of reclaimed space junk will replace reclaimed wood in the houses of hipsters who wear wide brim felt hats. And yeah,
that's awesome. That is awesome. But
hold on? Can we just take a minute? Can you just imagine the Property Brothers when they're super old and they're going to be like, in their 60s and they're redoing a house and they're like, this is all reclaimed space junk.
This is all reclaimed space metal right here. Came from the 13th blah 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 of blah blah blah.
This is Apollo 13.
This table right here was made out of
reclaimed space junk.
Absolutely. Right. Yes, it's the sundial on the Apollo, whatever. The point though is if that was their direction, if Woz came out and said, hey, I'm going to build a space company to clean up satellites and space junk, and that's what it is, I'm all for that. But that's not what he did. He came out and said, I want to be part of this privateer space, and released a commercial that was for the good of mankind without explaining what any of it's going to do or is. Let me just say,
as the resident, super capitalist, the anarcho-capitalist of the show here, I am sick of private companies talking about saving the planet. Tell me that you want to make a profit. If you just say, hey, I started a business doing X, Y, and Z because I want a bigger house on the beach.
Oh, yes.
I trust you. I now believe what you're saying. But if you say, I started a company to save the planet and change the world, you're lying. You're lying. You got secrets. You got
so
secrets.
You don't believe in philanthropy at all.
It's not that I don't believe in philanthropy, right? I think that the people who are doing the most philanthropy are doing it for a tax break. And listen, this is on a case-by-case basis because I have to listen to the person and kind of look at them and go, you faking it or you're real. I know a handful of people that are real and they're doing it because they care about other people, but the 90% of them are doing it to look good. And we all know that. If you just say, hey, I am a capitalist scumbag and I want to make money doing something, I believe you.
Well, but if Elon Musk was saying this, then I would think that. But why would Wozniak? Like, really, what does he get out of this?
And here's the other thing. Woz, unlike the other private space cadets, let's call them.
Right, Musk and Bezos, right?
Bezos and
what's his name?
Virgin Galactic guy.
Virgin Galactic guy.
Yeah. Not a billionaire, right? He floats on the back of Apple's $1 trillion aspirations. Mm-hmm. But he himself, not a billionaire, right? He is a $900 million short of being a billionaire. And that's just to be a $1 billionaire, right?
Well, but that's my point is, why would he be involved if it wasn't philanthropic? Why would a guy like this, the guys like this is not, he obviously for the last 30 years has not been trying to get his name out there like a Bezos or whatever.
His name's out there. Woz is out there, okay?
Well, of course
Seth Rogen played him in the movie. So it's as out there as it's going to be.
Well, but I'm saying, but that's my point, is he has no benefit to me other than being philanthropic. Like, look, there are some, this is a real problem. That's why I say if it's about space junk, it would make sense to me. Because this is a real problem. Look, NASA asked the government for $15 million last year for them to figure out this problem because they know it's a problem that's coming. right?
Right.
There are
Yeah,
currently
fair enough.
over 20,000 pieces of what we call space junk, which are most of it is satellites that no longer work for anybody, that don't do anything. There are 20,000 of them that we track on a minute by minute basis to make sure that they don't destroy something useful.
And if you join Privateer Space today, you can use some of that reclaimed space junk in your new home rehab project. You can go to spacejunk.privateerspace.org. I'm kidding. But
that is hilarious.
I just think that this is me going on a limb. I don't know Woz personally, although I probably can get his phone number very easily. But
just tweet him. I'm sure he'll.
Yeah, I know. This is him trying to boost that he's an old guy. Okay? This is ego. That's what this reads to me.
You think so? Well, you're more pessimistic than I am, but
I'm not pessimistic. I'm the most optimistic guy. But I also think the world is ending, and that's why I'm optimistic. So that's all.